The night was heavy with grief. The funeral had been a blur of tears and hushed voices, the scent of lilies clinging to the air like a final goodbye. As the last mourners left, exhausted from the weight of loss, Sarah collapsed into bed, her mind replaying memories of her grandmother, warm smiles, whispered stories, the way her hands felt, paper-thin yet comforting. Sleep came fitfully, a shallow escape. Then, a presence, Sarah's eyes flew open. The room was ice-cold, her breath visible in the moonlight. At the foot of her bed stood a figure, silhouetted in an eerie blue glow. Her grandmother. But this wasn't the frail woman from the casket. This version stood straighter, her face soft yet urgent. Her lips moved, but no sound came, just a whisper that slithered into Sarah's mind, the red door, don't open it. Sarah gasped, scrambling back. The figure dissolved like smoke, leaving behind the faintest scent of rose perfume, her grandmother's signature. The next morning, she dismissed it as grief playing tricks, until she found the old house key tucked under her pillow. A key she'd never seen before. And etched into its handle? A tiny, blood-red door. The funeral guests had all gone home, leaving only the oppressive silence of an empty house. Daniel sat alone in his grandmother's rocking chair, the wood creaking under his weight just as it had for her. The scent of her lavender sachets still lingered, mixing with the faint odor of funeral flowers. Exhaustion finally pulled him into a shallow sleep, until a cold finger traced his cheek. His eyes snapped open. She stood over him, bathed in the pale glow of the streetlight outside. Her face was almost right, the same silver hair, the same knitted shawl, but her smile stretched too wide, her teeth too sharp in the dim light. "You didn't say goodbye properly," she whispered, her voice like radio static. Daniel's breath hitched. This wasn't the gentle woman who'd sung him lullabies. This thing tilted its head, joints cracking like dry twigs as it reached for the jewelry box on the dresser, the one Grandma had always forbidden him to touch. "Open it," it hissed. Trembling, he lifted the lid. A swarm of black moths erupted into the room, their wings beating against his face as the thing behind him began to laugh, a sound like breaking glass. And in the center of the empty box, gleaming dully, lay his grandmother's wedding ring, still caked with grave dirt. Rain lashed against the attic window as Emma sorted through her grandmother's belongings. The musty air clung to her throat as she lifted a yellowed envelope from an antique writing desk, her name scrawled in familiar, shaky handwriting. The ink smudged under her thumb, still damp after all these years. A floorboard creaked behind her. The temperature plummeted. Emma turned slowly to see her grandmother's favorite shawl draped over the rocking chair, empty, yet moving rhythmically as if someone sat there. The scent of chamomile tea filled the air. A whisper brushed her ear, read it aloud. Emma's trembling fingers unfolded the letter. The words blurred as she began reading, not her grandmother's memories as expected, but a frantic warning about the locked trunk in the corner. The final sentence trailed off mid-word, the paper torn as if snatched away. The rocking chair stopped. Something scraped inside the trunk. Emma approached, the wood icy under her hands. As the latch clicked open, the attic light flickered, revealing the contents for just a second. A childhood doll with Emma's exact face, its porcelain cracked where the neck should bend. Stuffed inside its chest cavity, the missing half of the letter, stained brown with decades-old blood. Outside, thunder cracked as the rocking chair began moving again, this time violently fast. The moving van had barely pulled away when Jake noticed something wrong with the old family photos. In every picture of Grandma's house, there she was, standing at the upstairs window, watching. Even in photos taken years after her death. That first night in his inherited home, Jake awoke to the smell of her rose-scented perfume. The vintage clock in the hallway struck 3:17 a.m., the exact time she'd died. A shadow moved behind the frosted bathroom door. "Grandma?" His voice echoed through the cold halls. The bathroom faucet turned on by itself, water running rust-brown. The mirror fogged over, then a single finger wrote, "My house," before the glass cracked violently. Upstairs, the closet door in her old bedroom stood ajar. Inside, Jake found every gift he'd ever given her, unworn sweaters still tagged, unread books collecting dust. At the back, her favorite rocking chair faced the wall, until it slowly creaked around to face him, the indentation in the cushion fresh as if someone had just risen from it. A cold breath touched his neck as the closet door slammed shut behind him, plunging him into darkness. From inches away, a voice whispered, "You shouldn't have sold my jewelry." Outside, the neighbors would swear they saw two figures in the window that night, one screaming, one smiling. The cemetery workers had just finished packing the dirt over Grandma's grave when Liam realized his wristwatch was missing, the vintage silver one she'd gifted him last Christmas. Under the pale moonlight, he returned alone, the freshly turned earth seeming to breathe in the cold air. His shovel struck wood far too soon. The casket lid was scratched to splinters from the inside. Before he could scream, the ground gave way beneath him, plunging Liam into the grave. Dirt poured in after him, filling his mouth as he landed atop nothing. An endless void where the coffin should be. Then, a familiar scent of lavender and mothballs. "You came back for me," Grandma's voice echoed from the darkness. A gnarled hand gripped his shoulder, skin like damp parchment. "Now we can be together, forever." Liam's phone, still in his pocket, suddenly blared to life, playing her favorite lullaby at deafening volume. The screen illuminated a nightmarish tableau, dozens of skeletal hands emerging from the grave walls, all wearing identical silver watches. As the dirt reached his chin, Liam understood too late, she'd been collecting family members this way for generations. The lullaby wasn't a comfort. It was a countdown. Above ground, the cemetery caretaker would later swear he saw two figures holding hands as they disappeared into the mist, one struggling, one smiling with too many teeth.